nice ankles. We'll say.
Nice ankles. All right.
And,
what every guy notices first, the ankles.
Yeah, the ankles. And that left a definite impression on me. And finally met in class, and I was like, oh, I remember those ankles.
Because that's what he was looking at,
those
my ankles.
ankles.
Yes.
Yep.
And then I was like, well, I don't have the stash. Now I have the goatee.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the No Easy Way Out podcast. My name is Tony, and we are coming to you as always from the Armory in beautiful downtown Owasso, Michigan, home to my company, AZ Business Solutions, where we help grow your brand from A to Z. So I'm excited about our guest today, some good friends of mine, good friends of ours here at AZ, and someone that we've been recently doing quite a bit of work with, and that is Ruben and Ashleigh Cervantes. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Good to have you guys. It's awesome to see you. Always love spending time with you guys. And so, how you guys been? Everything going good?
Yep, we are gearing up for the new season to start.
New dance season coming to you. When does it start?
September 13th.
September 13th. So it's just coming. I know you guys just recently got a bunch of new signups, so that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be able to do things a little differently this year with now that we're past 2020, get to be able to actually maybe see some kids' smiling faces and do some stuff like that. So
that's exciting.
Yeah, very exciting.
Definitely happy to get back into it.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we met. So let's go back to like the beginning where we met you guys, or where I met you guys. I can't talk about where everybody met you, but we'll talk about where I met you. So I used to, as some of our audience knows, I used to run the Comstock Inn and Conference Center and the Tanglewood. And one night I was there, and Ashleigh actually before the show reminded me of the details of this, but I was there and ran into a good friend of mine, Casey Prescott. And she had a young, blonde, doughy-eyed gal with her, and she introduced me, and that was the first time we met. And then recently after that, we met Ruben, and you guys used to come in there and eat quite a bit, and so we just kind of became friends over that time. And so it was just like, fast friends. We just kind of got to know each other really well, and those were good times. Do you guys still go to Tanglewood much?
Not since COVID. We haven't really gone out to eat too much at all.
Yeah. Things are starting to open back up now, but
getting back out there.
Getting more comfortable with everything.
But I learned how to cook at home instead of going out to eat. So
that's excellent.
Ruben's super
Keyword
happy about that.
learned. For sure learned.
How did you learn? Did you just start doing it, or did you look up cookbooks,
I just
YouTube
started looking
videos,
up
watch the
recipes.
food channel?
I had a lot of time on my hands.
Yeah.
A lot of TikTok time.
What's your best meal?
I'll let Ruben answer that one. What's your favorite meal that I make?
I love Hungarian goulash that she makes.
Hungarian
it is amazing.
goulash. What is that?
It's a family recipe.
Yeah, it's like a little family recipe. So she has elbow noodles, burger, ground it all up, and it has like sour cream cheese, and
tomato soup.
Tomato soup.
Sounds like Ruben can make it now. He knows the recipe.
Oh, I can't make it. She's all doesn't know like no measurements or anything like that.
Just all by love.
Oh yeah. I can eat that for like
That sounds
2
amazing.
days.
That sounds amazing.
And
it sounds like it'd be good with garlic bread maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hawaiian rolls, yum.
Next time I make some, I'll bring you some.
My mom used to make goulash. Like we grew up, we didn't have much at all. My mom made like the goulash that was like basically like noodles with ketchup in it. That was goulash to us. So like when I hear the word goulash, I kind of get
You're like,
I don't know, but that sounds really, really good. So, well, good. So you had some time to learn to cook. You've got some new meals under your repertoire. It's certainly more affordable when you don't eat out as much. So that's good. And especially when you have 6 kids, which we do. So we've had to learn how to cook from home quite a bit. All right. So we met at the Comstock. We kind of hung out when you guys would come in. You were good people. We had fun. And then you guys decided, when did you decide you were going to get married? I don't know the dates.
2000, oh my gosh, 14.
No, 2013. Because we proposed to you at our dance recital in May.
Oh yeah.
Of 2013, and then that next June.
We've been together going on 19 years, so the dates get a little jumbled.
Together,
incredible. But you've been married for 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you guys approached me. You knew that I was ordained, and I did some weddings. And weddings are not my favorite thing to do, to be honest with you. Like I'd rather do a funeral than a wedding because most times brides are very difficult to deal with. I mean, like you get the bridezillas. Ashleigh was not that way. That was excellent.
Thanks.
So yeah.
It was good, and we did a little pre-marriage counseling.
We did.
We
We
talked
did. That was
We
great.
talked about life and the pursuit of happiness. And it's funny that you guys still remember some of the things we talked about. But then we had the big day, and it was over at Michigan State campus. And it was
Botanical Gardens.
Yeah, that was
Botanical
beautiful.
Gardens, yeah. It was supposed to be a beautiful day, and then we got
Rain
the
down.
rain poured down. Now, they say rain on the wedding day equals good luck, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's very stressful, but
Yeah.
it was nice.
We got soaked. I got a good picture with Ruben and I that I still love. It's in my favorites. It's probably because there's very few pictures where I feel like I look like a normal human. And I felt like in that one I captured humanity. Like I look like a person in that
There you
picture.
go.
So I keep it. So it's not really about you. It's more about me. But it's
okay.
got you in it. So
Hey.
but
I didn't
yeah.
notice me kind of like cropped out half my body when I saw it. I was like, I think that's
Who
me.
is this guy?
We were just talking the other day about how it wasn't supposed to rain that day at all. And the wedding planner had approached Ruben. We had just taken pictures outside, and the girls all got into the bus, and we were on our way over to the venue. And it started downpouring, and I didn't notice because I was so distracted. So my maid of honor, Casey Prescott, looks at me and she goes, I don't want you to freak out, but here, I just want you to look outside. And so it started raining. I'm like, oh no, what are we going to do? Well, in the meantime, the wedding planner had asked Ruben, hey, what do you want to do? Do you want to move this inside? Well, if it was inside, it was going to be in classrooms. We were not
Yeah.
prepared for that because it wasn't supposed to rain that
No
day.
B plan.
Yep. Or do you want to keep it outside? And Ruben's like, if I make this decision, she might not marry me.
Yeah,
She
that
was
was
like, we're not
literally
quite
the
there
hardest
yet.
decision
Why are you asking me
I had to
this?
make. Yeah, I'm
Right,
like,
yeah.
can you call Ashley? She's like, we can't get a hold of Ashley. And I just looked around. I go, all right, either I can make a great decision, or she probably can divorce me within 2 hours after we get married.
Ruben,
Either
that
way,
was a wise decision. That
Yeah.
was a wise decision. I believe I remember you talking to me about that. Like, I don't know what we're supposed to do here, but
I know. And like, I cheaped out on getting the canopy because I'm like, I'm gonna save $300. It's end of June, ain't gonna rain. And all of a sudden, I'm
need a
like,
canopy.
yeah, can we get that canopy now? They're like, nope.
Is it available?
Too late.
So what were you thinking during all this? Like your friend, your maid of honor is telling you it might rain. It looks like it's gonna rain. What's going through your mind?
At first, I was bummed out, and then I just went, you know what?
Just go
C'est
with
la
that.
vie.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Well, you looked beautiful that day.
Thanks.
Always do, but especially that day. Ruben, you looked pretty good too.
Yeah, I
Looked
tried. You know, I got
dapper
dressed
as
my own
always.
that day.
Yeah, it was a
nice.
great wedding. And then you guys had a cool choreographed dance afterwards that we all got to enjoy at the reception. We had DJ Chewy on the mixers there, so it was a fun night, a good time. And I'm happy to say, I think I've done about 10 weddings, and to this day, everyone's still together. So that's good.
That's
For
awesome.
me, I feel like it's
Right.
it's because of the pre-marriage counseling that I do. So.
Oh, great advice. Great advice.
Right. No, congratulations, guys, on 19 years together. That's incredible. My wife and I have been married for, I think it's 17 years,
Oh, wow.
17 or 18, but we've only been together, we were together for just over a year when we got married. So,
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
yeah, we kind of did it in reverse.
So you know my pain. It's
yes,
tough.
It's tough,
tough.
man. These
It's
women
tough.
are tough to deal with, let me tell you.
That's a podcast in its
all
own.
by itself. All by itself. All right, so why don't you guys, for those listening who don't know who you are, I feel like everybody in our area knows who you are, but for those of you who don't know you guys, tell our audience a little about what is Ashleigh's Dance Shack and what you guys do.
We teach dance ages 3 all the way up to 22. We do adult classes. We have classes ranging from ballet, hip hop, tap, tumbling, gymnastics, acro. Help me out now, I'm on the spot. Wedding
we-
choreography,
yeah.
baton,
Do like adult.
adult
Tap.
fitness.
Wow.
I mean, you name it, we can
Yeah,
do
we
it.
try to do everything.
What kind of a class do you have for a 41-year-old overweight man? Do you have anything for that?
We can do ballroom with you and your wife.
Ballroom
Ooh.
dancing, that might be good. Yeah, I don't know if
You look light on your feet. You look really light on your
well,
feet.
it is deceiving because I am not. I'm very heavy on my feet. I'm very heavy everywhere. So, but I appreciate that. So, okay, so you said ages
3.
3 to
Yep.
22. 22.
Well, I mean, we can even go over that, but for our competitions, they go up to age 22.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we have recreational and competition dance.
So you're teaching dance mostly for the purpose of the girls and guys being able to compete against other dancers and other dance teams and that kind of thing. So it's
Yeah.
it's not just training to know how to dance, which you do offer, but it's really so that you can compete at a high level.
I'd like to say that we're more than just dance at the
Yeah.
studio. I think our motto is to encourage, inspire, and include. So to us, it's not just a dance studio where you're learning to dance. We're a family.
Yeah.
We all, down to my instructors, I have the best team that you could ever imagine, and we all genuinely love our students, and we want to see them grow not only as people but as dancers as well. So we put a lot more into it than just the dance instruction behind
Yeah.
it. But it is fun to go to competitions
Yeah.
and do that because it teaches kids healthy competition, and win or lose, it doesn't matter. We just want them to go out there and do their best.
Give their best effort.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely think the rec side is almost as equally as important as the competition. They pretty much get the same attention as competition.
For
Yeah,
sure.
I think competition just gets a little more practice because
Yeah,
they get
they
to
get more
perform
practice,
more
sure.
often. But other than that, yeah, I mean, we combine the classes together, so essentially they're learning the same exact thing. They're not really much different. It's just competition gets to go to competitions on the weekend and gets
Yeah.
a little more.
Well, whenever I've been
Time.
around you guys with your dancers or with your instructors, I mean, everybody seems to really, really get along. And, you know, if Ashley, like, says a command, like, the girls react quickly. They don't look like they're scared, but they just respect the teachers.
Yeah.
You can tell there's like because, you know, I work with kids, I coach basketball, and you can tell the difference between when somebody's, like, responding out of fear and responding out of, I want my teacher to be pleased with me or my coach to be pleased with me. So it seems like you guys got a really good thing going there. So
We got good kids. That
Yes.
helps.
Oh yeah, definitely.
they can't all be good.
They are.
Wow.
No.
Even, well, you know,
you
even
don't have
the
to
ones,
mention a name, but we know you got a few that are like, if they dropped out, that'd be all right.
even the ones that aren't, those are my favorite.
We have a really
The high maintenance ones are the favorite.
The high
biggest
maintenance ones are
challenge.
absolutely my favorite because that was me when I was growing up. I was
Yeah.
super hyper. I had a really hard time paying attention. Same with Ruben.
Same.
yeah.
And you too?
Oh, for sure.
I always got in trouble for talking in class. And
Yeah,
so
everybody else in the class could be talking, and then I would they'd be whispering to each other, and then I like whisper, I think, and then they call me out. I'm the
It's
only
like,
one that ever
come
seemed to
on.
get in trouble. So it's not fair. I'm
yep,
still
I
bitter
see
about it.
myself in those kids. So
Yeah.
I always, those kids are my favorite.
So talk about, I know on your website it talks a little about the benefits of dance for young people. Talk a little bit about what are some of the benefits a child will experience from taking dance lessons and classes.
Again, I think we kind of touched base on this. It's more than just the physical benefits. Like I could go on and tell you all the physical benefits to dance, and those are great. I mean, we're keeping our kids healthy, but the biggest thing for me is the mental experience that they're going to get. Like they are definitely going to build confidence. I want to teach them how to get out in front of a bunch of people and feel confident. You ask me to talk in front of a lot of people, I'm going to tell you I'm nervous. But if you ask me to dance in front of a bunch of people, all my years of experience has built that confidence.
Yeah.
And I want them to feel important, and I want them to understand that they are important and there's nothing that they can't do, and that you don't have to be a certain size to be a dancer. You don't have to
Right.
be a certain height or a shape. It's for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think that there's this stigma on it that has been there for quite some time that you have to fit this certain mold. And we wanted to be the change. We wanted to be the difference. And that's what I really think that dance for us is all about, is really encouraging these students to be who they are and reach for the stars. Because whether or not they're going to go be a professional dancer in the future, it doesn't matter to me. I want them to
Right.
be happy and confident and love what they're doing.
And make the best TikToks.
Yeah, that too.
Best TikToks.
Why does keeps get brought up?
If we can rope it
My
into
best
it.
dance experience is only found on TikTok. I wish I had rhythm, but unfortunately I do not. But
Have you seen my TikToks with her?
Oh, I
Like,
sure
don't got a
have.
rhythm.
I sure have. I definitely have. Okay, so there are other dance studios or other options for people in town. So what makes Ashleigh's different than the others?
I think that there isn't a bad place to dance in town. Everybody offers something a little bit different.
Unless
think
I open a class, then that would be not recommended.
We would go out of business then, I think.
But I think that there's a lot of different options as far as what you can choose. But personally, at Ashleigh's Dance Shack, we pride ourselves in each dancer's personal growth. And that's what's most important to us. Like I said, encourage, include, inspire. Those are the biggest things that we really touch base on. So we're structured, very structured, but not so much strict. And we offer kindness and love to our students. So I'm not sure if that sets us apart from anybody else, but I know that that's what we do. And
What you strive
makes,
to do, what you focus on.
Yep,
Yeah.
makes me proud.
Awesome. Well, you guys have been in the community for the Ashleigh's Dance Shack has been in the community for 10 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
10
talk a
years.
little bit about what that journey has been like being in Owasso and trying to learn this. I mean, I'm sure when you started, it was different than it is now. So talk to us a little bit about what it means to celebrate 10 years and that journey you've experienced.
We started with nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, no
zero.
students. Yep, I had coached the Owasso High School dance team for a few years, volunteered my time. I was actually going to school to be a police officer. I had just
really?
graduated with my criminal justice degree. I wanted to
You look
eventually
very
do
intimidating.
Yeah.
You should see when she's. Oof.
It's like that movie
Mighty
Zootopia.
Mouse.
Yeah.
That is it Zootopia with the little bunny dancer, like, or not dancer, police officer. Like,
That
she's
was
so
her.
small and like unintimidating, but
Oh,
she
yeah.
like is awesome.
Well, I
yeah.
wanted to do forensic science. That
I
was
see.
originally what I wanted
Watch
to.
a lot of CSI.
Yep,
Yes.
work my way into, but you have to do patrol in order to get there. So, anyways, I have a nice little degree sitting on my shelf at the studio.
Really?
Yep.
I never
It's
knew
a
that.
nice
That's
frame.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you're younger, you have these big dreams about what you want to do, but you don't really follow them. You follow what society tells you should do. You got to hurry up and go to college. You got to hurry up and find a job. You got to hurry up and and I don't think I put a whole lot of thought into what my true passion was.
Yeah.
So, anyways, story behind it is, well, when I had finished the police academy and done all of that, I had decided that I was going to wait to go into that field because my dad had gotten really sick and he was in the hospital and we almost lost him. There was a lot of stress going on in our lives. So I said, you know what, I'm going to take a year. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to figure out what I want to do. And so I had found a job at a dance studio called The Dance Place. And I started working there and realized after coaching the dance team for so many years and doing what I did, it's what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they ended up getting out and said, we're, going to close. We think this would be really great if you opened your own studio. We can sell you all of our contents, our bars, our mirrors, everything. You can do it on your own. Well, I was just 21 years old. I wasn't very confident, and I didn't think that was anything I could do. I mean, obviously it was my dream my whole life, but I just didn't feel confident enough to do it. So
Right.
we went for it, and I don't even know what was the deciding factor, but I just thought, you know what, now or never.
That's awesome.
So we started from the ground up with no students and ended up flourishing to where we are now, but having no idea anything about business. Ruben actually was going to school for radiology at the time, and he had wanted to get a business degree.
Oh, I did so.
And I talked him out of it.
She
and
talked me out of it. The counselors did because it was the whole, the economy tank. So
Yeah.
anything running a business or opening anything, they were saying, no, you don't want to do that. Go in the medical field. There's always people
Yeah.
getting sick. That's never shortage.
Yeah.
Yep. So talked him out of it. I regret that decision big time. So we had to learn all the business aspect from the
Yeah.
ropes. What I did know was I knew students, I knew dance, and I
People,
knew that
yeah.
I loved to do that. So we ran with that, and somehow we made it here today.
Somehow.
We made it through COVID.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's super inspiring. I want to talk about that for a second because I think there's so many people out there listening right now that maybe have an idea or a passion that they would love to pursue, and they're afraid or maybe feel like they're not qualified or able to do that. Maybe they feel like it's above them or whatever the case might be. And the fact that, a couple of 21-year-old kids had this opportunity instead of, shying away from it because you don't know business, you don't know how to, run payroll, you don't know how to, do any of the things that they tell you need to know, but we're just going to do it and base it off the passion that we have for people, for dance, for the things that we know, and then to make it work. That's amazing. And, I think if any business can figure out their customer, because every business has to have a customer, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you can figure out your customer and how to provide value to your customer and exceptional service and care for what you're offering them, you can make it. Like all that other stuff you can figure out. You can figure out or hire someone that can do your taxes and your books, and you can, have people help you with payroll and paying the bills. But the thing that's going to make the business succeed is the passion that somebody has behind it and their willingness to say, I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to be scared of taking risks, and just go for it. And I think that if more people would just be committed to not think about all the things they can't do, but really focus in on the things that they're passionate about. And we live in a world today where you could turn, because of the internet, you could turn any passion into a career.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like if you were the biggest authority on Marvel movies, we were talking about Marvel movies before.
Which
this,
I
like,
am. I am.
Yeah, like I was saying, if you could turn your knowledge of Marvel into a job, you could start a YouTube channel. You could start collecting merch and selling it on Etsy or make your own e-commerce. I mean, there's so many ways you can make money today. It has to start with a passion and then a willingness to just say, we're going to go for this. We're going to do it. We're not going to be afraid of it. And we're going to go. I mean, when I started this company, I spent 10 years in hospitality, like That's what I knew was hospitality. I was good at it. So when I decided to start a marketing company, it was like, do I really know enough? But I knew that I understand how to grow a brand. I understand what people are looking for in terms of service and hospitality. So I can help other people with that. And, I've just learned over the years and did a lot of things the wrong way and just said, okay, I'm not going to do that again, and done some things the right way. And then just got lucky a few times. Like I went out on a limb, like I'm going to try this, and it really worked. And so I think the spirit of the entrepreneur has to have those things. And then the other thing is you have to understand that not everybody is an entrepreneur. Like, sometimes working for or with somebody else is okay if that's what makes you happy. But just the willingness to pursue what you're passionate about and go for it, I think that's super inspirational. And I think it's awesome that you guys have done that. And I wish you all the luck as you keep going forward.
Thanks.
Oh yeah, Ashley's done great of it. I feel like when we first started everything, that we were bringing something different to the table, and that's what I would express to anybody if they're going to start a new business. Don't lose track of your customers. They're not just a number. Be personable. Say hi.
Absolutely.
That just even a 3 to 5 minute conversation with the customer, even if they're gonna buy your brand or not, it leaves something in there for
100%.
them. And then that's word of mouth. And that's what Ashley, everybody, she's genuine. She treats everybody the same. So it's just,
and that's so important, and that can outshine all of the other. Even if there's a place out there that has more amenities or better space or better offerings or more expensive this or that, whatever, more classically trained dancers or whatever the case is, they cannot. You can't beat good customer service. You can't beat a business owner or employees that care about their customers. You can't beat that. And one of the things that's been toughest for me about 2020 is that I feel like where customer service was already lacking in our society, I feel like it's almost gone now. Like people are now offering the bare minimum amount of service, and it's always, well, it's because of COVID. We can't do that because of COVID. And I realize that that's a real thing. Like some things you can't do because of COVID, but I feel like people do not go out of their way at all anymore to try to make a customer feel appreciated, warm, welcome. And whenever I do run into those people, I offer them a job on the spot. Like I was at the Taco Bell drive-thru the other day, and this employee just really, he just went all out in this drive-thru order. He was super friendly. He was kind of laughing back and forth with me, got to the window, thanked me for ordering, made sure I had everything, asked me if I could get anything else, but just super pleasant. And I was like, dude, you want a job? Like, I mean, people like that are hard to find.
oh yeah.
And so the fact that you guys get that, I think, is one of the main things that's going to not only has helped you grow, but will sustain you guys long into the future. So don't lose sight of that. Don't lose sight of that.
I think it helps if you just stay true to who you are, because none of that stuff I wasn't trying to do it. I just like people. I like to talk.
Yeah.
I like to
Me too. That's why I have a podcast.
I like
Maybe
to
we
be
need
part
to
of
get you a
people's
podcast,
lives.
Ashley.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Or
I'm
just
always
invite
the
me
one in
on
the
again.
background going, hey, Ashley, we were supposed to be here somewhere 15, 20 minutes ago.
Oh,
you want
yeah.
to wrap it up?
Yeah.
I'd be shutting the lights off at the studio. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of hungry. I want to go home and eat some food.
But in an era like we live in today, where people constantly just want to use the phone to text, and they want to get online and email, and they don't want to talk on the phone.
100%.
I'm all about call us. Call us. Let me have that personal conversation with you. Because if you're emailing back and forth, you leave things out because it's too much to put in the email or whatever reason.
And it's hard to get context
Yes.
with just
Exactly.
words.
Absolutely. And I want
Yeah.
to talk to you. I want to see what it is you want from me, and
Yeah.
let me offer that to you. And if I can learn a little bit about you, I know what dance class is best for you, and I know which one will be best for your child, or a little bit about their personality and what they're like, then I can help with that. But, if you're just emailing back and forth, or you're just signing up online and you're not talking to me, I can't give you that information. And
Yeah.
again, it's about just staying true
Well,
to who
and
you
that
are.
is another thing that technology has kind of hurt, because a lot of people just want the quickest, easiest, most convenient way to book something or reserve something or buy something. And, I know when we were in the hotel business, this thing came out called TripAdvisor. And it was a place where people could go write about their experiences in a hotel. And, a lot of hotel owners didn't like it because, it's just a place for people to go complain. I loved it because I'm like, if they can go write good things about us there, that's going to help us get business. But they had done a study that showed that and this was like in 2014, so I'm sure it's more now, but it said like 65% of people, or I'm sorry, 75% of people look online before they buy something or visit somewhere or shop somewhere, eat somewhere. They look online, what's available to me. People who don't know the area. And then it said that like 50% of those people will actually book online if they have the option to, or buy online instead of calling, which tells me as a business owner, I might never get the chance to sell my product. So I have to make sure my online presence is sharp, because that might be the only opportunity, the only touch point I get with somebody. But then what really stuck out to me was that it said 99% of people make their decision based on consumer reviews and what other people say about it. So the challenge as a business owner is for people like you and me, Ashleigh, that like to talk to people, that like to have the opportunity to talk about what we offer. We may never get that opportunity. People make their decision based on what they found about us in a Google search. So it's important, that's where we come in. It's important to make sure your digital footprint is impressive and that people can make good decisions, and hopefully they will call and give you a chance. But a lot of people make their decision before they ever even meet you or know you. Mm-hmm. And so making sure that the persona that you're trying to promote within the walls of your space also is reflected online is a big challenge today. And companies that are not doing that are really missing opportunities. And it's challenging because a lot of business owners have owned their companies for 10, 15, 20, 30 years where they never had to do that before. And now they're in this age where it's like they're getting left behind because other people are finding ways to maximize this online presence, and they just want to have that face-to-face, which again I think is still 100% important and has to be emphasized. But now you kind of have this other element that you have to focus on. And for me, even though we do it, it's not as much fun. Like we have to have a good website and good videos, but I would rather just have a conversation with people, have the opportunity to talk about it. So yeah. All right, so let's go back to how this all began. Okay, so we know what you're doing now. You guys have experienced great success and looking forward to another good season. Well, let's talk about how you told us kind of how you became the owners of Ashleigh's Dance Shack. It was called The Dance Place. You changed it, is that right?
No, we just bought their content, started our own.
Yeah.
But I had worked for the Dance Place
So
previously,
you started your own, called it Ashleigh's Dance Shack. That was based off, at the time, your last name, right? Ashleigh Shack.
Yes.
So
Yep.
it was a good play on words there.
I think it was your dad. Your dad's the one that came up with the name.
Yeah.
Because we were sitting around the table and he's like, "What about Ashleigh's Dance Shack?"
And
Everybody was like,
I'm like,
yeah,
I
I
don't
kind
want
of threw it
that.
out the window at first. And it was
like,
funny
how about
because
Ashleigh's Dance Cervantes?
Well, if you can see, we have a sign in the back. My last name it's right there. You just got to see in the curve. You can see it. And Cervantes. That's what it says.
Hyphen, asterisk.
I threw it out at first because I didn't want people to look at the Dance Shack as a shack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just didn't want them to get the wrong idea. But we were on the phone with somebody doing marketing for something, and he said, Ashleigh's Dance Shack. That's kind of a silly name. I said, well, my name's Ashleigh Shack. And he said, oh, clever. That's so clever. And so it was then that I was like, okay,
Typical
well,
salesperson.
we were going to play off that then.
Yeah.
And so I also had a friend in school that had moved back here, and he said, I knew it was your studio right away because it had your name in it.
And
so,
it's pink.
Yeah.
It's bedazzled.
Oh my!
So it's
like the
Ashleigh.
rest of our lives.
It's Ashleighfied. Yeah.
Glitter on me. I know I do.
It's glitter. Yes. Okay, so then we know how that worked out. Let's talk about you guys both grew up in Owasso?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. So when and where did you guys meet? Because this is a family business now. I mean, you two are doing this together full time. So let's go way back. So when did you guys meet?
So the first time I ever saw Ruben, and I was telling you this story earlier, it was in junior high.
Yeah.
And I had walked into my first day of junior high, and he happened to be one of the 8th graders, because he was older than me, that was in the Commons area. And he had a mustache. And
The mustache.
It was the mustache that did it. The 8th grade mustache.
It was the mustache.
I'm not going to lie, it terrified me. I went home that day and I told Mom, there's boys in school that have mustaches. I'm scared to go. And so we didn't talk for a long time after that. I mean, I just knew him as the.
Was it like that vote for Pedro style mustache?
Oh yeah,
Totally.
it was thick, lush, plush.
He was Pedro for sure. And so I
That's
just knew him
amazing.
as one of the wrestlers, 8th grade boys. And I didn't even go near him. I was too scared to even talk to him. And then in high school, we ended up he had a blow off class, I think his senior year, that he didn't have to take. It was my math class. I'm terrible at math.
Yeah.
And he's really great at it. So we were in the same class. And his cousin, Sean Medina, introduced us.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, the rest is history.
Yeah, that
I
was
was
it.
15.
Yeah.
So you saw him in 7th grade, but you didn't really meet him until like your senior year?
Yeah.
My junior
Junior year, yeah.
in high
So
school.
had
his
you
senior
ever
year.
recognized her, noticed her? Answer this carefully, Ruben. Like she remembers the mustache all the way from. She had a 5-year plan with you, buddy.
I think I want to say the first time I saw you was probably
That you remember.
that I remember. I remember seeing you my sophomore year in high
Are
school.
we allowed to tell this story?
Yeah, there-
Yes, please.
I-
Please.
He tells me.
We
Go
want the
ahead.
tea.
Go
all right,
ahead.
all right. So I remember being, I think it was, sophomore year in high school, or no, junior year, and you were a sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in the hallway, and I remember walking behind a certain person, and
Being me.
being her, and noticing she had nice ankles. We'll say.
Nice ankles. All right.
And,
What every guy notices first, the ankles.
Yeah, the ankles. And that left a definite impression on me. And after that, kind of asked questions about it. And
Yeah.
then, you get lost in it. And then
Yeah.
somehow, some way, like she said,
Got
finally met in
introduced.
class. And I was like, oh, I remember those ankles.
Because that's what he was looking at.
Those
My
ankles.
Yes.
And then I was like, well, I don't have the stash. Now I have the goatee.
Yes.
Yeah.
So once he grew the goatee, I was totally in. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, yep.
Yeah.
Upgraded.
No, but joking aside, I knew the day I was going to marry him. He came to my senior prom. No, I went to your senior prom.
Yep.
And he danced with me. And all the other guys are, sitting around not dancing with their
The
girlfriends.
wallflowers.
Yeah, and he danced the entire night. And I was like, I am going to marry
This
this
is my
guy because
person.
that was what I was all about. Yep.
Yeah, I gotta imagine you were cutting a rug at the prom. This is my moment. This
Yeah.
is what I was born to do.
I did have my Patrick Swayze moment. It was pretty nice.
Did
Lifted
ya?
her up in the
Lifted her
air. Yep.
All right, time of your life.
That really didn't happen.
We need to
but
recreate that one of these days. All right, so where does your love of dance? I mean, this goes all the way back to high school. Did you dance in high school?
I did.
So tell us about where your love of dance comes from.
I was thinking about this the other day, and I'll be honest with you, I can't remember a day that I didn't have it.
Okay.
I mean, I've always had a huge passion for it. And I started when I was really young, and then I remember I got private lessons from Danielle Saminsky, so Dr. Saminsky's daughter.
Okay.
And we would go to her house, and she lived in this beautiful home, and she had a dance studio in her basement and drove this beautiful yellow sports car. And my mom would take me there, and I just thought she was the coolest thing in the whole world. I still do, to be honest with you. My mom would take me there for private lessons, and I'd get back in the car, and I'm like, man, she's so cool. My mom would say, you can be her someday. Really, Mom?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can be her someday. You just got to keep doing it,
Yeah.
Make sure that it's what you love and keep moving forward. And I just aspired to be her. Well, then in high school, I had a teacher, Nikki Flynn, and she ran the dance program. And she gave me an opportunity to do an independent study. And so my senior year, I did an independent study in dance, and that was where I really found my passion for that. She allowed me to do some choreography for the dance classes, and I had finally found my niche with that and realized that it was definitely something that I wanted to do. And I don't know, I guess the rest is just kind
The
of,
rest is history.
yeah, it is. I mean, I just always have felt that passion for it. I don't remember a day that I didn't.
Okay, so you've always loved dance. You run into a mustachioed young Ruben at 7th grade.
Life
5
changer.
years later, you guys kind of get to know each other. You fall in love, and then you decide you're going to buy this dance studio. This is
That was before we got married.
That's what I'm
Yes,
saying.
before,
This is
yep.
before you were married.
Yep.
So at what point did Ruben decide I'm going to help her in this journey of, because obviously you were willing to dance, but maybe dance isn't your passion necessarily, or is it?
It's just natural.
Yeah. Yes. maybe it's become that. But at what point did you decide, all right, I'm gonna go all in on this and help my wife pursue her passion, and it's gonna become who we are and what we do.
When
And,
we had kids.
yeah, that was
Well,
it.
it was something that it was a great opportunity just because like I said, it was something I wanted to do. I wanted to run something.
Yeah.
I love the business side of I don't know. It was just something I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And he loves people
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
do. And he's
People
good
love
with
him.
people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And
People do love
I
him.
always loved the
Yes.
interaction. I didn't want to work somewhere where I was behind a desk all day and it was just me and a computer screen
Yeah.
and barely talk to anybody. I wanted to be out there,
Man of
converse
the
with
people.
people.
Well, let's
And-
be honest about this. He did his clinicals for X-ray tech, and he didn't like working with sick people. And it's
Yeah.
not that
Yeah,
he
it's nothing
didn't
against that,
enjoy taking care of them. It was that
It's a
he
calling.
needed,
Yeah.
he needed people that were happy.
Yeah.
And when you're sick, you're not happy. And he's like, I can't be around this environment because it just brings me down and makes me sad. And
Yeah,
it just wasn't his thing.
My sister worked with, sick and elderly people forever, and I always just thought, man, I would go around and it's so sad to me. And I'm
It's
like,
sad.
It
and I'm
is
like,
sad.
this is a calling because I couldn't do that, like
Yep.
for any amount of money. And so you have to understand what you're able and what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So
And it wasn't the patients or anything like that would make.
Sure.
They were great. It was just me feeling sorry
Carry
for
the
'em,
emotion, yeah.
constantly feeling sorry and bad, and you take that home and I just talked to an elderly woman. I tell Ashley and I feel bad. I saw her grandkids and it breaks my heart. And after that, I was realizing that I don't know if I can do that every day.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's for me.
Yeah.
I know it's for other people. It's just not. It wasn't for me. And then she told me she needed some help, and I was all for it. I'm like, yeah, we can do it.
Let's go all
And
in.
I learned as much as I could, as fast as I could, and
Mhm.
we took off. And we had great people helping us along the way, especially me. We had Ann School of Dance, Ann and Jim Bufa. They're
Huge
from, oh my
mentors
gosh,
for us.
huge, and just tons of people, tons of people.
Awesome. So then you guys you went on this journey together. How long after you went open did Ruben join full time?
A few years. He was finishing up school and working at Charter One Bank, right?
Yep.
I
Charter
remember
One
that.
Bank for a
Citizens
while.
now.
I
Citizens
remember
now.
that. Yeah, I forgot
And
about that.
I
but
was just
remember.
getting flooded with the business side. I am not a techie person
Hold on.
whatsoever.
I want to make a shout out to my homegirl, Debbie Klein.
Debbie Klein.
At Charter One.
At Charter One.
Our Charter One citizen. She's just retired now, but
Yeah.
my heart's still with her.
Yeah.
Anyways, what were we talking about?
We were talking about when Ruben decided to leave Debbie and join
Sorry, I
Ashley.
knew that was gonna
You
blow
threw
your
me off
concentration.
there.
I'm
Debbie
so
also
sorry.
have nice ankles. That's funny. Yeah, so you were just saying it was a couple years after, and he decided you needed help with stuff. You're not techie.
Yeah.
So he
You were not
decided-
techie, and you were just describing how
I was
awesome
trying
I
to
am.
do everything by the books. Like literally writing down everything in a book when
Yeah.
I say that, by the books. And it was really difficult for me to be a dance instructor and a business owner at the same time
Yeah.
because I have all of these things that are on my shoulders. And then you're asking me to do payroll and the books and all of that other
Yeah,
stuff. And I had
billing
no
and
idea
all.
how to do it, billing, all of that stuff. So he came in and he's like, hey, there's this awesome system called QuickBooks. Let's check it out. And again, the rest is history. I mean, he just really flew with it, and he keeps me organized, and he makes sure all of that's done. People come up to the studio sometimes and say, hey, how much do I owe? I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I couldn't
Same-
tell you either.
Same here. I don't look at my books. I don't want to look at the numbers. I don't want to talk about it. My bookkeeper, Brenda, is awesome. She's like, she'll lose sleep if we're like, our balance is 3 cents off. And I'm like, I just look at the bank account and say, oh, that's how much money we have. Okay. And I don't ever account for what we have already spent or whatever. So she'll bring me once a week a report, and I'll just kind of glance like, all right, we got it taken care of, right? And so like, I'll run the clients like, hey, I got to get you that check. I'm like, oh, okay. Sounds like I have no idea who owes money and who doesn't. I probably should know, but
I'm the same
yeah.
way. I'm terrible about that.
I get stressed looking at spreadsheets and numbers, and my mind is not built for that stuff.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't matter. Like, you do what you love. That's what
Right.
you want to focus on.
Right.
And same here. I want to focus on those kids. I want to focus on teaching dance. I don't
Yeah.
worry about that kind of stuff. He's got it, and it's awesome that we're married and he's my
100%.
husband.
AZ benefits far more when I'm not focused on those things.
Right.
And Ashley's Dance Shack probably thrives much more when you're not having to focus on those things that you're not good at, and he can do the things that he's good at, it's a match made in heaven, right?
It
It's
is.
perfect.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky.
Yes.
As
You
am
guys-
I.
Yes. All right, guys, that's enough. Save it for after the show. Well, let's talk real quick then about what it is both of you love most about what you do.
Well,
You want me to go first? Or
yeah,
you?
go ahead.
So I was just telling my niece this the other day because she just graduated high school and she's going to college and she's wishy-washy about what she wants to do. And I said, you know, I want you to look at Uncle Ruben and I because we both have degrees and they collect dust on the top of our, desk at the studio. And what people didn't tell me in school, I mean, like I said, society pushes you to, you got to go to college, you got to get a job. And when you're I graduated when I was 17. When you're 17 years old, you have no idea what that
clue.
means yet.
You don't even know what you want. Yeah.
Right. You've had no real world experience. You have no idea. So what I'm telling her is go out there and find your passion. And what I mean by that is, what do you love to do? What makes you happy? What gives you the courage to wake up in the morning and continue on and not feel like you're just living every single day the same. I said there was a day that it clicked for me that I woke up and I went, oh my gosh, I'm going to work, but it's not work.
Right.
Like, I love what I do. I have never walked into that dance studio and went, ugh, I got to work today. Some days I've gone, oh, I have to exercise today because we don't always feel like that.
Oh, I love exercising every day. I'm such a gym rat.
There's days that you don't feel like doing that, but I have never felt like my job is work ever. And I love what I do. So my biggest thing is find your passion, do what you love. And if you are not quite sure what that is, then get some real world experience and figure it out. Like I was
Patient.
telling my niece, she wants to go into the dental field. I said, well, go and apprentice under some dentists and ask them, can I come in and can I job shadow you and can I see what it's all about?
Right.
And see if it's something that you love before you jump on that track and then you end up like Ruben and I where we have these degrees that we don't use. They're a great fallback plan.
Sure.
And it would definitely be a great job, but it's not our passion. It's not what we love.
And so many people, and you're right about society. I mean, like college is pushed so hard. And remember when I would say college isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to go to college. Now, some professions, like if you're going to go in the medical field or if you're going to be in law enforcement, like there's some things that you probably need to get schooling for. But the idea that everyone should go to college to me is a false premise. Like that's not true. Some people should not go to college, honestly. The other thing is we want these 17, 18-year-old kids to know what they want to do for the rest of their lives at that age. And how many don't? So how many people have thousands of dollars in college debt and they are doing something completely different than what their degree is?
This guy right here.
I mean, the stories are endless of people that done that. So, and then the last thing I would say is, if you can get paid to do what you love, you've won.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You've won. It doesn't matter how much money you make.
Nope.
Honestly, like I could make more money if I went back to the hotel business. I could make a lot more money than I make as a business owner. And of course, the thing about a business owner is the potential is endless, right?
Oh yeah.
Someday, I keep telling myself that someday I can, but I wouldn't trade the happiness I have for any of it. So I always tell people, if you can do what you love and get paid for it, you've won. Mm-hmm. You've won. Stop trying to win. You've won. Like you can get better at it, and so I think that's not told to kids. It's just they're told get good grades, go to college, get a degree, get a job that pays the most money. And like how many people are making lots of money and just are missing that ingredient of happiness. So
Right.
Oh yeah.
Well, what about you, Ruben? What do you love the most about it?
Oh man. Like I said, I think the thing I love the most is just being your own boss. That's probably the best of it. Yes, I do have somebody I report to on a minute, hour, daily basis that is pretty much in charge of me. But other than that, I'm number 2.
He thinks he's number 2.
I'm for sure number 2. But that's what I think is the greatest part. Is it's something that like Ashleigh, it's something we are doing what we love.
You get to do it together.
And it's every day. I don't go into work. I'm not happy. It's refreshing. Sometimes it's an escape.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people are missing out on that.
Yeah.
I really do. It's
I agree.
and it's sad because you don't know you don't know until you experience it.
Well, I want to hit on real quick. I don't need to spend a lot of time on this, but I think it's something important to address that, a husband and wife entrepreneur team can be amazing, but I'm sure it brings its own set of challenges.
Oh, yeah.
And so, the fact that, some couples get to go to work to escape, being around that person all day, every day. Not that you don't love that person, but everybody needs time away, right? And so you guys are together not just at home, but also at work. What are some of the things that you've done or you would encourage other couplepreneurs? I don't know if that's a word, we just invented it.
Couplepreneurs.
Yeah. What would you do to tell them to kind of help, navigate those waters and still be able to keep that closeness and not just be coworkers and friends, but to, stay partners?
Well, just like in marriage, you're not always right.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I'm not? Don't
That's
tell Danica.
probably my big fault, is always thinking I know something more than the missus over here.
Yeah.
And it takes me a minute to come down to earth in some subjects. And I'm like, well, maybe she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah. So deferring to each other's expertise and understanding that you both bring something different to the table and respecting what those are.
Oh, knowing
And
the strengths and
communication
weaknesses.
is key.
Oh, yeah.
I think when we first started working together, it was a lot easier because we had endless time. So we could go up to the studio whenever we wanted. We had, the freedom to come and go as we left or as we pleased. And then we had kids.
Yeah.
And so the first one, Ruby, we had her at the studio every single day. I mean, she was never not there.
Yeah.
We were those crazy parents that never
She
let
was
our
the
kid out of our
mascot for
sight.
like a good year.
She totally was. I mean, we had a little playpen set up in the studio and she just was there. She loved it. And then Rava came along and she is very different than Ruby. She beats to her own drum. And so we decided that we were going to have our parents babysit at home. Well, then at that point, you're on a time limit because you can only,
Right.
work so much and expect so much out of your parents. And so we lost communication there where things were happening and we weren't communicating about it. And so then it would turn into an argument.
Yeah.
Well, then we decided one day, okay, we got to sit down and we have to have this time to communicate with one another. You tell me what's going on your end. I'll tell you what's going on my end. And then we'll meet together. And so we started doing that. And I think COVID was what really, really brought light to that.
Yes.
We had a lot of time to reflect on our family and what we were doing and how we wanted to do things. And it shed a lot of light onto how we needed to handle those situations. So the communication that we opened up with one another made a huge difference and it was better. But we've always spent tons of time together. I mean, when we were in college, we took classes together.
Yeah.
And when we were in high school, we were together. We worked together at the Comstock, actually.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first job, and I worked with him.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, so we've just always been together. So we can manage it pretty well, but
That's right. I just remembered that. So that was the connection. Was Ruben's mom used to run the banquet center at the Comstock.
Yep.
And so I met her, and she would talk about you guys, and it's all coming full circle now. Okay, so amazing, inspirational, great advice. If you're listening and you're a husband and wife couple, that's great stuff. These guys are making it work. But right now I want to move on to my favorite segment of the podcast called Explain That Post. All right. So I did, Ruben, you don't have social media, right?
I don't.
Yeah.
So
But Ashleigh does. So I did a deep dive on
Oh.
Ashleigh's social media accounts.
Uh-oh.
And I found something that I just think needs a little more context. So I'm going to send this to you guys. You can watch it on one phone. I don't think you need to watch it on both. Because this is a video.
Oh,
And our audience will be able to see this. I sent it to Ashleigh's phone. And let's watch this together, and let's just break this down. Tell me when you get it.
Got it.
All right, let's
Oh,
watch
no.
this. Here we go.
It hadn't been for Cotton Eye Joe. I'd been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where
So
did you
Ashleigh's
go?
into
Where
it.
did you come
Ruben's,
from,
he's the
Cotton Eye
supporting
Joe?
cast.
Oh,
Got some good
no.
moves right there. He's into it. That nailed it.
Oh,
Nailed it.
no.
Did you come from? Where
Face
did
is
you
in it.
go?
And then we got the jackhammer. Amazing. Ashleigh, that face is just sassy. And my favorite part is the ending, though. Because right here, you guys are on step. You're together. And then
I think this is
the
take number
jackhammer.
like 6.
The
due to me.
jackhammer's my... What do we call that move at the end?
That is the Ruben celebration shuffle.
I love it. I was
Like,
calling it the jackhammer.
we don't have to
but
do this again because I didn't mess up. Let's go.
That was amazing. Any more context you guys want to bring to that post? Like, what was happening? Why did you decide to do this? I mean, I think I know why, but let's tell our audience a little background on that.
I would rather not discuss that. We got any other more questions?
So we were in the thick of COVID and we were doing virtual classes for Zumba. And we were just learning how to do Zoom and, trying to figure it all out. So I needed him up there to kind of run Zoom while I was doing my virtual classes.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's our only break away from our kids
Yeah.
because we're with them 24/7, and
Yeah.
we both were like, okay, well, this is kind of a nice little breather. Let's do something fun, because I was in a pretty dark place when COVID first hit. Just worried about my business, worried about how we were going to financially survive, how we
Yeah.
were going to, we're a one income household.
Yeah.
So it was pretty scary for a little while, and I needed something to bring my spirits up. So I started venturing into TikTok, and I said, Ruben, will you do a TikTok with me?
That's a rabbit hole.
Oh,
I'm like, is that like a new Tic Tac, that brand or something that's coming out with flavor? I don't.
he did not want to do it at all. And I kept having to go, please, will you do it with me? Please, will you do it with me? We had so much fun doing those.
Yeah, it was.
Just cracking up and laughing together. And
I think it was awesome. I think it was awesome.
I know, you've told me.
I loved it. And I think you guys need to bring it back. You guys are a dance studio. TikTok is mostly dancing, or at least it was at one point. So, first of all, Ashleighs Ashley.s1019. I had to look this up. I had to find it before the show. I remember they had a TikTok, but I couldn't find it. Found it through your Instagram page. But yeah, look it up, and then you guys need to start doing TikToks again, because it's fun. It shows the lighter side of you guys, and I think it's awesome. And Ruben, you killed it, man. You crushed it. So
he's fun. That's what I love about him. Is
Yeah.
my mom has always commented on how silly we act together, and she loves that about us. She'll go, "Will you guys act silly again?"
yeah, he's
But that's
game.
it's who we
I
are.
don't think I could get Danica to do a TikTok with me. I got my boys to do one or two, but couldn't get Danica to do it. So, well, that's a lot of fun. So I recommend, I think the audience agrees, bring back the TikTok dances. I think it'll be awesome. But you hit on something that you guys did most of your TikToks during COVID, right?
Yeah.
So
All
it
of
was,
them.
it was also a creative way to stay in touch with your people and
Make our students smile.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. So I think it was awesome. That's what I liked it. I honestly found TikTok during COVID too. And when I was home with my kids, it just gave us some fun stuff to do. And looking back on it, I'm like, why did I do that? But it was
Yeah.
fun at the time. And
Seems like a great idea.
yeah. But I want to finish the show where we talk a little bit about 2020. We do this with all of our guests. It's the big elephant in the room. It was a big, it affected businesses tremendously. And it still continues to affect businesses. And even now as the government and our governor and the CDC and the World Health Organization and the president and everybody tries to figure out what to do next, you're hearing rumors of, mask mandates again and all these things. And so it's hard as a business owner to decide, like, can I just make my own decisions, or do I have to wait to be told what to do? And, as entrepreneurs, our lives are all about taking risks. So we're not afraid to take risks, but we don't want to be reckless. And so trying to determine, like, what's the right thing to do versus what do I need to do to survive as a business. And so talk to me about what was going through your mind. You mentioned you were in a dark place, but as you were finding out that you were going to have to close your business, what are the things that was going through your mind, and how are you guys feeling about that?
Well, at first, I think like everybody, we thought it was just going to be a few weeks. So,
Right.
nice little vacation. We get to stay home, be
Which
with
was
our
a
family.
reasonable request, right? We're like, 2 weeks? Yeah, we should
Yeah.
do that for
Right,
sure.
right. We can make that happen. But then it got to the point where, after this went on, we were the first to go and the last to come back every single time.
Yeah.
So even when gyms were able to go back and do their one-on-one sessions, or they were able to work out, we couldn't still.
No, because
So-
it was like we were in between spots, because they didn't specifically say dance studios or.
Dance studios were recognized under fitness.
Yes.
We weren't in our, and I don't believe that that's what we are.
Sure.
So they kind of segregated or put us right in with that instead of giving us our own individual,
Category.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So go ahead. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
So it was really hard just because we were stressed out on top of that, because we were trying to figure out what category we fell into, and no one really knew. So we either could stay open and might get some, guff just because we're not too sure, or it might not be too safe for us to open, or we can close. So it was really hard to make the decision because we didn't know what decision we could make, to be honest.
Right.
Right.
We didn't even know what we were supposed to
Yeah,
do.
the unknown was the most difficult
Yeah.
thing, because you want to plan, but like with a business like yours, like you got to start planning for your next season months in advance. And
Months
so
in advance.
how do you plan months in advance when you don't even know what a week from now is going to look like? And so
Well,
the
yeah.
challenge was huge challenge.
And when we first got shut down, Mike's students had worked all year long to do a recital, and they got that taken from them. COVID took that from them.
Yeah.
And, they weren't able to come to their dance classes. We were trying to do online dance classes, do Zoom, trying to figure out how we were going to start the next season when everything was up in the air because things kept changing so rapidly that we would come up with a plan and then we'd have to scratch it and come up with a new one.
Yep.
So essentially what we did was we took a little time off to, get our
Brainstorm.
Thank you. Get our stuff together. And we decided that we were going to rent a park. And what we did was we had Agnew Graphics print us up these signs, and we made these little dance rooms out of sticks and posts and yarn. And then we put the signs up so that everybody could follow their color. And we had everybody coming to the park, and they were social distancing, and we were staying 6 feet apart. We were hand sanitizing. We were making sure that everybody came in and out 6 feet apart. We did held up signs in the parking lot, had everybody wait in their car when it was time for them to come to class. And I'll tell you right now, the kids loved it because we were in nature. We were outside dancing. The only time that it was really difficult was when it rained.
Yeah.
But the kids absolutely loved it because it was just this atmosphere that just made them even more happy to be where they were at. And they got some sense of normalcy being with each other and being outside. And there was this sense of safeness, I guess you would say, being outside and not being enclosed at that time when nobody really knew what was going on. But we made it through that, and then we were able to go back into the studio, and we kept having shutdowns, so we kept having to learn how to do Zoom and do dance classes online. I don't know about you, but it was very difficult.
Yeah, back
to
and
do
forth.
dance
Oh, we
classes
can go to the park
online.
today. Oh, we can't go to the park. Or we'd wake up in the morning and find out we can't open, so it would be
Another shutdown.
trying to get hold of everybody, our customers, let them know, oh, we're not going to be at the studio today, we're going to be outside.
But I'll tell you right now, if it wasn't for all of the students that stuck with us through COVID, we wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah.
Our dance family banded together. I mean, when we had that first shutdown, everybody was there for us. What can we do to help? How can we help? We want ADS to stay open. If it wasn't for them, we would not be here. The ongoing support was just phenomenal.
Yeah, and not only them, it was the city was helping us a lot with the park idea. They've never heard of somebody reserving pavilions for 2 months.
Yeah.
So they were trying to break it down, work with us in pricing, and it
Josh
was great.
Adams.
Josh Adams.
He
and
helped us big time. He
Cheryl
was amazing.
Peterson was amazing.
Yeah, Cheryl has been
She's
a
godsend.
lifesaver to us through COVID. I mean, she's been awesome. And Josh Adams, too.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that goes back to the people aspect of your business. Like, if you guys were just a service provider and it was just this is student number 1, this is student number 17, and it was very rigid and it wasn't what you guys built it to be, this family atmosphere where we all love each other and we care about our students, then you wouldn't have made it through COVID, because people can find that anywhere else. But what they can't find anywhere else is what you guys were offering on that personal level. So that's why I think business owners listening, like, never forget about your people. Like, no business can survive without people. And you have to, whether that be your customers, whether that be your employees, don't treat your employees like just numbers either. They are people.
Yep.
If you can make your business about the people that you serve, you're going to win, because that alone will separate you. You know, the hotels that I ran were either nationally ranked or regionally ranked for service and hospitality. And I believe 100% the reason was not because there was anything special about me, but because we just made it a point to care about the people that came into our building, and that made us stand out. And I think that applies across any industry and any business. So how did this, I mean, we know how it affected you guys, but what were some of the things you were hearing from your students, seeing them having to miss out on a once-in-a-lifetime, or maybe their last opportunity to dance in a recital, or their last opportunity to dance in a competition, their last year of eligible dance time, having to show up with a mask and not be able to see each other's faces? Like, what were the things that were, how was it affecting your students?
I think that was tough too. Just on top of COVID and having to break news to seniors that you're gonna miss out on your last recital.
But we made it work.
Yeah, we
We
did
brought
make
them
it
back
work.
the next year.
Yeah, we brought it back
Oh, wow.
next
Gave
year,
them
but
that
Because they
opportunity.
had another year of eligibility.
I will honestly say the students were the real MVPs of this whole COVID because we made it a safe environment. My biggest thing was not only is my own family there, but my students are there. And it's so important to me that I keep them safe and I keep them feeling safe. So our cleaning protocols were huge. They still are. I mean, we made sure that every student was 6 feet apart in their boxes at all times. They were masked up. They wore hand sanitizer on their way up. On the way down, we constantly were cleaning the rooms in between and after classes. We did a lot of things to make sure that they felt safe. And I will say, knock on wood, thank goodness, we made it an entire year without a COVID breakout. But the biggest thing was the students came in mass, and I'm online and I see all these people complaining about wearing masks. Oh, I got to wear my mask for 8 hours a day while I sit at my desk job. And then I look at my, 9, 10-year-old student doing a row of back handsprings. And when she gets done, she shoots me a peace sign and she's all excited. I can't see her smile because she has a mask on, but not one time did I hear a single student complain about wearing those masks.
Yeah.
They were just happy to be there.
Yeah.
So the fact that we were able to provide that environment for them and
Sure.
give them that outlet, the complaints happened in the beginning because of course they missed out on the recital and
course.
all that money on costumes. We did it too. It was my daughter's very first dance recital. She didn't get to experience it.
Yeah.
So we understand that aspect of it, but we're going to blame that on COVID because that's
Sure.
100% COVID's fault. And so you just get up, you dust yourself off, and you move on. And everybody did. And we have a great, great family. I can't tell you how many tears I shed out of happiness by the support that we got from everybody.
And that's really the true spirit of an entrepreneur. I mean, just finding a way to stay connected with your people, finding a way to still keep the experience alive, not becoming a victim to your circumstances, but finding a way to be a victor even throughout it. And, we all have faced very adverse, difficult situations in the past year. And again, COVID still is affecting our businesses in one way or another, and it will for a while. When you shut down the economy for almost a year, it's going to have effects for a while. But that spirit that I'm not going to quit, I'm not going to give up, I'm not going to let this beat me, I'm going to find a way to do this right, that's amazing. And so you guys truly are an inspiration to me, to people listening are going to find this very inspirational. You'll give hope to people that maybe are on the fence about what they're supposed to do. I just say keep going forward, keep moving ahead. So the last thing I'll ask you before we do our Say It in 60 is, what is a good piece of advice you would give to other business owners in our community or business owners that are listening? And it doesn't have to be COVID related, but just it can be. But what is a good piece of advice that you would give to other business owners?
I think for one of the main ones would use the tools that are at your disposal. So use the city, ask some questions, use Cheryl Peterson. She's amazing. Don't forget that, there is a Josh Adams that can help you. And if you have questions, because they want to see you succeed as much as we do.
Yeah.
And that's the number one thing I think that our years of experience that I've seen is I didn't realize there were so many tools at my disposal.
Yeah.
I didn't realize the city cared so much.
Yeah.
They wanted to be involved.
Mm-hmm. We have a great community.
Oh, it was great.
Don't
Amazing
leave a
community.
stone unturned, right?
Yep.
Before you say, I can't do anymore, do everything you could have possibly done.
Yep.
There are a lot of resources out there. And especially during COVID, even though it was difficult, there were resources available to help you get through it. And like I said, you guys mentioned Cheryl a couple times. We just sent her a big gift basket to say thank you, because she has been so amazing. And honestly, that's what connected us professionally was, Cheryl being able to help you guys get through some things and allow us to help you with a new website and all that kind of stuff. So very, very cool. And she's awesome. And so, utilize those tools that are available.
And that's what helped us get through COVID, because that's what we did is we utilized them before everything happened.
100%.
So we were connected to everybody.
Yeah. Stay connected. Don't be an island to yourself,
No.
right?
Right.
Connect yourself.
I know you have something to say.
I don't really necessarily have advice, but stay true to who you are. And that is something that I've really put value on in our studio. I try not to look at what other people are doing because I don't want to change my thoughts and views. I know what I wanted I looked at my experience as a dancer growing up, and I looked at how I wanted to be. Just like, you take things from your parents that you love and when you become a parent, and the things that you don't love, you leave behind.
Right.
So it's kind of the same thing with the dance studio. I do what I love, and I keep the things that I don't behind. And so just stay true to who you are and what you want to do, and don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Just make sure that, your heart and your soul is in it, and you're doing it the way you want to do it originally. And that's how the studio started originally. I just found a way that I wanted to do things, and I thought, hey, if I'm my own boss, I can do it my way,
That's
right?
Yeah, and even when people tell you it's not a good idea or that's not going to work, to me, when I hear people say that, it kind of makes me want to do it more because I'm stubborn like that. But sometimes people listen to the wrong voices, and because 2 or 3 people said that's not a good idea or that's not going to work, they go, it must not be a good idea. And that's why I always I have this canvas behind me that my mom used to say to me all the time: you can't and never could until you tried, because you can't do something until you try it. So be willing to try things. And you got to be honest. If something's not working, then it's not working. But at least be willing to try it and stay true to yourself. I love that advice. So
Don't be afraid to fail.
don't be afraid to fail.
Don't be afraid to be creative. If COVID's taught me anything, there was so many opportunities where it was like, Ruben, is this the right move? He goes, it's the only move we got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What else-
if
what do
this
we
is
have to
what you
lose?
think we should do,
Right.
let's do it, because
do it.
it's all we got. And when so much positivity came out of those creative moves that I made, I realized, okay, I need to be a little more open to
Yeah.
making these leaps and
Yeah.
jumps and not be so scared. I need to do what I know is right.
Yep. Absolutely.
So-
Got to be willing to take those risks, because you wouldn't be here without risks.
Right.
And so it's funny, the older you get and the more your kids grow up, the more cautious you become. Like, I have 2 kids driving now, and when I was in high school, the way I drove was insane.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't
Drove
drive
like an
like
animal.
me.
And now that I'm 40 and I have more control of the steering wheel than I ever have, and I'm a better driver than I've ever been in my life, like if I get around 90, I'm like super nervous. Like, oh, this is too fast, But then thinking about when your kids, are driving, and you're like, man, I hope they're not, and trying to give them the lessons. And you just become more cautious as you get older, You stand you're at a high building and you look over the edge, and it makes you a little more nervous than it did when you were, 20, because you just understand the consequences of things more. But if you allow yourself to become like that as an entrepreneur, you'll get beat. You have to be willing to continue to be bold, take those risks, and move forward, because those are the things that get you where you're at.
Yeah,
So-
don't stay comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
and
settle.
move on from your mistakes
Yeah.
too. That was
Yeah.
something that I
Yeah.
had a really hard time learning. You can't dwell on them, because mistakes are what teach you in
Yeah.
the future.
Absolutely.
They teach you where to go and how far to go. And so let those mistakes go, and then just keep looking towards the future.
I like Michael Jordan has a quote. He says, I've never lost. I've either won or I've learned. So if you look at it as a failure, as a lesson, then it's all part of the process. So, all right. Well, thank you guys so much for being on. We're going to end our show with a segment we called Say It in 60. You guys have some nice insulated mugs that was done by Heather Brooks here in town, with the AZ/Avengers logo on there.
Oh, I love it.
As Ruben
Love it.
recognized. You guys can take those home today, but you have to answer these 10 questions in 60 seconds. So I'm going to put a 60 seconds on my clock here.
I run with it. If you don't get these questions right, I'm gonna book it.
You guys can
With the
actually help each
Cubs.
other too. Like, if you feel like she's not answering it, just jump in. Ashley, you're going to do this, right?
Yeah.
But if you're struggling, Ruben, just throw something out there. There's no wrong answer. These are
Okay.
your answers, okay? But
Okay.
we want to hear what you have to say. And if you get these all in 60 seconds, you're going to go home with a beautiful insulated AZ mug. And I hope to see that make it into some of your social media posts. All right, are you ready?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, the timer starts now. What is a must-read book?
The 5 love languages.
What is a daily habit that everyone should do?
Get up, drink your coffee, put on some Gangster rap, and handle it.
What is your favorite podcast?
Yours, of course.
Of course. What is a must-binge TV series?
Ooh, WandaVision.
That's a good one. What's your why?
Family.
What's your best piece of advice?
Wake up, drink your coffee, put on some Gangster rap, and handle it.
There you go. What is your favorite quote?
Wake up.
Maybe I should step in now.
20 seconds. 20 seconds.
Go.
Next.
I'm just gonna
All
go.
right. Who do you look up to?
My mom.
What is success to you?
Getting up every day and going to a job you love.
10 seconds left. What's your favorite quote?
Keep on trucking.
Keep on trucking. All right, with 5 seconds to spare, you guys did it. Great job. You're going home today with your very own
Cheers.
AZ insulated mugs. Again, thank you guys so much for being on the show. Thank you for the friendship. Thank you for being an inspiration to all of us here in the community. Keep doing what you do. Keep being true to yourself. But before we go, I want you or one of you to look into that camera, and I want you to tell our audience where they can find Ashleigh's Dance Shack.
They don't want to see me last, that's for sure.
You can find Ashleigh's Dance Shack on Facebook, Ashleigh's Dance Shack, or you can visit us on our new website that Tony Nash just did, ashleysdanceshack.com, and you can find us on Instagram.
And TikTok.
And TikTok.
And TikTok.
And by the way, my team did the website, and it turned out amazing. So yes,
Oh, it
check
did.
it
You guys did a
out.
great
At
job.
Ashleigh's
Amazing.
Dance. And we're getting ready to do a promotional video for you that we're excited about.
Oh, yeah.
So we love working with you guys. So again, thank you for being with us today. Good luck to you. Let's stay in touch. And we'll have to have you guys back anytime you want. And Ashleigh, it sounds like you need to start your own podcast since you like to talk so much. We are actually opening our own podcast studio a block from here. And we're going to make it available to people who want to be podcasters and teach them how to do it and allow them to rent the space. So something to consider, right? You have a lot of good work.
Right.
Both of you guys do. So call it the Ruben and Ashleigh show.
Oh,
So. All right. Well, if you're still watching, thank you for joining us. As my mother always says, you can't and never could until you tried. So go out there and try something great, my friends, and don't take the easy way out. We'll see you next time.